Some stories make you question everything you think you believe in. About good, about evil, about what people are willing to do in the name of God. They called it an exorcism, but what really happened is something much darker. This is the true story of the Tanacu Exorcism. It began in the small village of Tanacu in eastern Romania. A quiet place, peaceful, forgotten by most of the world. In 2005, a 20-year-old nun named Marica Irina Cornisi joined a secluded Orthodox monastery there, seeking peace, healing, God. But soon, it was clear something wasn't right. She started hearing voices, not whispers, not hallucinations. The other nuns said she laughed at night, loud, echoing laughter that didn't sound like her. At first, they assumed it was stress, trauma, maybe schizophrenia. But then, things escalated. Irina began screaming during prayer. She tore icons off the walls. She accused the other nuns of being demons. She refused to eat, claimed the water burned her tongue, said the cross made her nauseous. She even attacked the other nuns, growling like an animal. And so, they turned to the only man they believed could help, a man they trusted, Father Daniel Petru Corojanu. The atmosphere in the chapel changed dramatically. It was unlike anything the nuns had experienced. The church, once quiet and solemn, grew thick with a suffocating pressure, like the air itself was pushing back. Candles flickered violently even without a breeze. Some were extinguished outright and relit themselves seconds later. Irina began thrashing with such force that the ropes holding her down left bloody welts. Her voice shifted pitch constantly, low and guttural one moment, high-pitched and mocking the next. Several nuns claimed she spoke in perfect Latin, although she had never learned it. At one point, she looked directly at Father Daniel and whispered, in a voice not her own, "You're not saving me, you're feeding us." Her body arched violently as if something inside was trying to break free. Witnesses say she levitated briefly, only an inch or two, but enough to send one of the younger nuns into hysterics. And then came the scratching, deep claw marks gouged into the floorboards beneath her feet. No one saw her move, yet the wood was torn as if by nails. Not human ones. Father Daniel wasn't a fringe priest. He'd studied theology in a respected seminary. But what he did next would make headlines around the world. He declared that Irina wasn't mentally ill. She was possessed by Satan, and the only way to save her soul was through ritual exorcism. They bound her hands and feet, gagged her with a towel, laid her on the floor of the church for 4 days straight, surrounded by candles and psalms. When she fought back, they said the demon was resisting, so they tied her to a wooden cross, arms outstretched, crown of thorns, crucified like Christ. Irina screamed, "Please, it's not me, it's in me, don't make it stronger." But they ignored her. They thought it was the demon talking. For 4 days, Irina was kept this way, starved, gagged, left without medical attention. Despite being gagged, the other nuns claimed they could still hear Irina whispering, but not in her own voice. They said her mouth didn't move, yet they heard her praying. But the prayers were distorted, reversed. One nun fainted after hearing it. Another ran from the room screaming, "She's praying to the wrong side." She cried, then screamed, then fell silent. But no one untied her. They believed her silence meant the demon had fled. When they finally called the ambulance, it was too late. Irina was dead. The autopsy revealed she had died from dehydration, exhaustion, and asphyxiation. She was 23 years old. The news exploded across Europe. nun crucified in failed exorcism. Priest blames demons for death of young woman. People was horrified, outraged. But in Tanacu, some villagers supported the priest. They believed he had done the right thing, that he'd fought Satan himself. Father Daniel showed no remorse. In an interview, he said, "God has performed a miracle for her. She is no longer possessed." During his final interview before prison, Father Daniel was asked if he feared punishment. He smiled and said, "I do not fear man's judgment. I fear only one thing, that she'll come back, not as Irina, but as what we tried to chain." Then he laughed, a long, hollow laugh that made the cameraman stop filming. The case sparked a firestorm. The Romanian Orthodox Church excommunicated Father Daniel. He was sentenced to 7 years in prison for manslaughter and illegal deprivation of liberty. The 4 nuns involved were also convicted and received prison sentences ranging from 5 to 6 years for their participation in the exorcism and failure to seek medical help. But the question remains, was this a case of religious insanity, or did they truly believe they were fighting something not of this world? To this day, some claim Irina showed textbook signs of possession. The speaking in tongues, the aversion to holy objects, the unnatural strength, but others say it was a failure of mental health care, that they mistook psychosis for demons. After her death, authorities found Irina's personal journal. The final entry was scribbled across the last page in a shaky handwriting. It read, "I begged them to stop. I was trying to fight it myself. But now, it's part of me, and they've set it free." But after the burial, strange things began happening. Here's what they didn't put in the headlines. After Irina's death, multiple people at the monastery reported seeing her, not peacefully, but standing in the chapel at night, head tilted, eyes black, mouth sewn shut. One nun claimed she heard Irina whispering, "I told you, it wasn't me." Locals say no grass grows where her body was laid, and how to this day, tourists who visit the site report dizzy spells, sudden nausea, and uncontrollable weeping. What about the wooden cross used in the exorcism? It was never burned, never buried. Locals say it was hidden somewhere in the chapel cellar, covered, chained, forgotten, until one night, a storm hit the village. Lightning struck the chapel, and the next morning, the cross was gone. Years later, a journalist investigating the monastery claimed to have found something hidden beneath the altar. It was a box, old, rotted, and locked shut with 3 rusty nails driven through a faded Orthodox cross. Inside, a piece of cloth soaked in blackened blood, a fragment of rope, frayed and stained, and a torn page from Irina's journal that hadn't been reported in court. The page was soaked in wax and smeared with blood. It read, "They thought they were saving me, but they were feeding it. And now, it knows your name." The journalist vanished a week after publishing the discovery. His last phone message was just static, and the sound of chanting. Faith can be beautiful, but sometimes it blinds. They meant to save her soul, but instead, they broke her body. Whether you believe in demons or not, the Tanacu Exorcism is proof that something dark happened in that church, and maybe it still lingers. So if you ever hear voices that sound otherworldly, pray they're just your imagination, because Irina tried to pray, and no one listened. Several viewers of this video have reported something strange. Headphones picking up faint whispering. Underneath the music, a voice saying, "It never left." Play it back if you dare. This is Truth is Terror. Like, share, and subscribe before it finds you next. Ha 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 ha. Until next time, sleep well.